Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio Railworld, where in the previous episode we were working on the new circuit system, and you can see that there they are coming along the conveyor belts and filling things up, but at the moment we only have a basic system going. We've just got enough going so that it is actually functional and we can see that it works. So what we now need to do in this episode is work at actually increasing the rate at which circuits are produced and sorting out a few odds and ends with that to just get the new facility properly operating as it should be. So we hop on board the circuit train to start with so we can make our way over and work on things. You can see there's a bunch of trains moving around, which looks really cool. Unfortunately, there's quite a few trains blocking other trains from moving along, so any train on its journey has to slow down and stop quite a few times to actually get anywhere. But anyway, over at the outpost you can see that at the moment all of the ore is backed completely up, so what we need to do is add in some more furnaces, because of course we want to get all this ore smelted into plates and turned into circuits and so on and so forth. So what I do is add in a couple more furnaces for copper, because at the moment iron plates are also backed up, so copper plates are the thing that really need working on right now. And what I'm aiming for is the ratio of 1.5 copper furnaces to 1 iron furnace, because that's the sort of the ratio of plates that are used up, so we want that to be most efficient and so on and so forth. So I just add in some new copper furnaces to start with to get all that sorted. What we need to work on next is the loading of coal, because at the moment the trains delivering iron and copper ore are not being supplied with coal, and last episode we had a bit of a problem where one of the trains ran out of coal while parked up and blocked all the other trains from leaving, which was a bit of a problem. So we want to get a train that comes along here and delivers some coal so that we can get all these fueled up. So here's the copper train right now, so I work on positioning things, working out where to put things to get that loading nicely, and then I also need to work out how to get it loaded onto this train. The circuit train is alright because that parks in the central station, and all trains in central station get refueled with coal while they're unloading, which is good. So it's only these two that need doing, but we do need to get the coal from somewhere. So I'm just sort of working out the best way to do this. I want a bit of coal storage, of course, in case the trains are here at different times. We need a bit to be stocked up so that when the trains turn up there is a bit to be loaded into it. So for one I'm using a chest with a bit of capacity in it, and the other one I'll just use a belt because that'll probably be alright. As it turns out, the train leaves so quickly that the belt does not actually run down before the train is left again, so the system works perfectly. So we hop on board the circuit train so we can make our way back over to the main base, and we can work out where to get a coal train coming from, because at the moment all of these stations here, all 5 of them, are in use, so I would prefer if I used a station that wasn't in use. You can have multiple trains going to one station for something, but it's better to sort of spread it out a bit more because it's better that way. Now, so what I decided to do is go over to the oil outpost, because that is of course where we get all our coal from. We've got a coal mine just to the north of here that we get all our coal for making plastic and fueling the trains in central station from. So anyway, while I'm stood around, I'm waiting for the trains to turn up, the plastic train, and while I'm doing that, or maybe not, at some point I spot that there's a bit of a problem with petroleum gas. There I go. So I quickly switch on a couple more chemical plants, because it looks like there's no petroleum gas left, and the light oil tanks are full, which is a bit of a disaster. So I quickly fix that. I get back to what I'm doing, and the thing is, I want to set up a new station here because I don't want something sharing a station with. Actually, I could have had the train sharing the station with the plastic train. Now I think about it, but at the time I didn't think of that as a solution, so I didn't do that. So what I decided to do is have a new section of track coming off from this, because we also want to make sure that the plastic train can, not the oil train, can carry on through things where even when trains are parked here, because otherwise we'll start to get some trains holding up other trains and it'll become a bit of a mess. So we're building this new bit of, like, branch of the rail system out here. We plunk down our station, and we just quickly put in some signals to sort of fix how things are, because we want each of these 3 branches to be separate blocks, but everything else to still be one block, I think. And then we need to actually plunk down our train and our cargo wagon and so on, which I will. There we go with the train, and I named the station coal loading because that makes sense. And then I get the train into position so I can get all the positionings of the inserters right, plunk down the cargo wagon, and then we can start working out how to get things loaded. So I have 3 inserters for the loading of the coal. We don't need that much because at the end of the day it's only fueling a couple of trains, and the trains don't hoover it up that quickly. So we've also got the signal sorted out for the entrance to the various blocks, and now we need to get the coal actually coming along some belts, and there it is, and it immediately starts getting loaded, and that looks pretty good. The train's being loaded, the carriage is being loaded, and so what I go and do is work on the actual coal mining, which needs some work. We were starting to run out of mining drills. One problem was that there were actually 2 mining drills that were not connected to the system, because when I was setting that up originally a couple of episodes back, there was a major biter attack while I was doing it, and so I got a little bit distracted running off to deal with that, and sort of left it unconnected and forgot about it. So reconnect those, and I add an entire new row of mining drills, because I want to make sure that we keep up a coal supply, because if we lose our coal supply, that means no more plastic, that means the trains will eventually all die, and so on and so forth, various bad things. So we want to keep on top of that, keep a lot of mining drills working on the coal at all times, because that's a good thing. So anyway, I'm trying to work out how to get this belt on the left to actually run down, because everything's loading onto one side of the main belt here, which means it's building up quite a bit, and I'm having some trouble dealing with it. We do have this evening out system over here, which then fixes that, but for the actual moment in the mining area, it's a bit more of a problem. In the end, I just abandon it and let it just work, because there's a lot of coal coming down the line anyway, which is all right. So I started setting up the actual path of the train where it's going to go. So it's going to go between coal loading and circuit coal, which are the names of the various stations. And now I'm just finalizing the loading system. And I decided to put in 7 inserters all in a line, and then I decided that's a terrible idea. And instead, what I should do is just have the belt go around a bit, stick in a buffer system, and that way the loading will be a lot more effective. So anyway, a little bit more tweaking, and then the train is ready to go. So I'm just sat inside waiting for it to set off, and there we go, through the loop and down into the central network, and over to the circuit system, into the 4th station along. And at the moment the 5th station doesn't have a job, and I think I'm actually going to get rid of that and use it for another purpose at some point, probably in the next episode, when I'm doing some more fiddling about with rails, because that's what we're doing now. This is what my hope. Oh, and there we go with follow a robot count 19. No, it's too soon. I'm not ready. But yeah, it's got to a nice sort of system of spending most of the episodes just fiddling about with rail stuff to help with that. But anyway, what we also need to do is sort out the circuit stuff here. And there's a weird thing going on with that belt balancer there, the one that goes around the corner, that I came up with. I don't know whether people use it very much beyond me, but I'm quite proud of it. But it jammed up there and stopped, which is weird, because that doesn't usually happen on one side. The iron stopped flowing, and I'm a bit concerned about that. So that's been cleared away anyway, and now I'm working on adding in some new furnaces. So we're going for the ratio again of 1.5 copper furnaces to each iron furnace, which means that we now have 12 copper furnaces and 8 iron furnaces, and it's balanced quite well. And looking at the circuit production, it seems like it's dealing with it absolutely fine, so we could probably add in some more yet and it would still be alright. So anyway, there go the trains, and I'm just watching everything run. And you see there were a lot of trains waiting for other trains to go, and I want to fix this. So what I start doing is adding in a new bit of rail here. This is going to extend between these 2 loops here that go underneath the circuit station, because of course there's some trains that, well, there's a lot of trains actually that want to go below the circuit station, going from right to left, because that's the ones that want to like park up in the station, or the ones that have just are leaving it again. So what we need to do is make it easier to do that. So what I've done is added in a new secondary line, so that if the first line has got a bit is full or whatever, other trains can take that line instead. I don't know how useful this really is, but it seems on paper to make sense, maybe, possibly. But one thing that makes a lot more sense is the little thing that I've added in there, which allows a train to bypass the loop when it's going round a 90-degree corner. Because previously, if any train wants to get anywhere that involves a turn, or even going straight some of the time, it has to go through that loop. And if it's going through that loop, nothing else can enter the loop, and that's a bad thing. And when you have so many trains going through this same one loop, you get a bit of a problem. Oh, there goes a biter attack over in Copper Outpost 2. We'll have to go and check up on that. It's a long time since that's happened, but yeah, so if you want to sort of ease the pressure on like the loops that have the most going on in them, and a good way to do that is to have a little bypassing system where if something just wants to turn 90 degrees, it can not even go in the loop at all. It can just miss it entirely, which allows something else to be using the loop at the same time. Anyway, we have yet another attack on Copper Outpost 2, so I decided that I'm going to take the train over and see what is going on there, because there is some stuff being damaged. So I hop over to the station. There is a ton of resupplying to be done by the robots, so I just stand around for a while, letting all that happen. Look at it, it's crazy. There's like 5 different streams of them all approaching me at once. Anyway, they eventually get done. I'm still waiting for this train, and I noticed that all of the other trains go, like, park up and then leave again, all the other ore trains. I'm beginning to think, what's happened to it? And then suddenly I spot something going on over at the nearby loop to combine oil and the main networks, and we have a problem. With the addition of the new coal train, we now have a situation where 2 trains can block each other from entering each other's blocks and just cause a complete gridlock. So I quickly fix it manually and let everything clear out, and then I need to do some tweaking here because I didn't realize this was a problem, but because of the way that the land goes, I had to make this the 2-way system go into a 1-way system before it went into the loop, and unfortunately that results in some problems with signaling where it just doesn't work. So what I've had to do is move it back. So now there's the bit where it combines into one track is part of the part of the loop. That's what it is. It's an extended section of the junction, and that will hopefully prevent any more gridlock problems happening there involving that. So anyway, we managed to hop on the copper train as it passed, which was pretty cool, and now we're going to take it over to the outpost to find out what is going on over there. So we park up, and there's a couple of mining drills run out down here, and then up there there's just one laser turret that has a little bit of damage on it, so it looks like it's not too much of a problem. Some biters came in, they managed to get to the turret and do a little bit of damage, but they were quickly killed. But it's still better if I can make it so that they can't get to the turret at all, so I added a couple more laser turrets and also a couple of conventional turrets, because there don't seem to be any on this particular defensive line here. And with that done, we should probably be fine, and we'll find out later when some more biters attack it, whenever that is. So we hop on board the copper train so we can take it back home, and it takes off its set off. It's getting very dark, you can't really see anything at this point, but it's fine. You can see the light of the train when it's moving, and we make our way back into the brighter area of the main station, so we can work on the next thing. So I need to finish off what I was doing over here, because I was putting in some secondary rails. I'm not sure how useful these are in hindsight, because at the time it felt like a good idea, but a lot of trains just didn't sort of use it. Well, that one just did there. So there is something to them. And I also stick in another bypass corner there for the iron trains that come from Iron Outpost 1, which should also help to sort of ease congestion there. What I should also probably do is add in a straight line bypass system on that loop on the left, because that would help to clear things up there as well. But anyway, what we also need to do is have a secondary track up on the top side of this section here, because this is connecting the two main station hub things, and so there's a lot of trains travelling between these two, and we want to make sure that there's as much sort of room as possible for them to move around. So I add in another line along here as well. There's a few trees in the way. It's not quite worth bringing out the tank, but because I do have my shotgun, which can quickly demolish the trees that are in my way. We get that connected up, and we could put in the signals there as well. And now what we need to do is go along and put a few signals in and around along the track as well, just so that multiple trains can move along them. You can see that trains are using the secondary track, and what I start doing now is putting in a little crossover section here, because of course sometimes a train may enter one track and then realize that it's quicker to get to its destination if it's on the other track. So I'm putting some crossover points in the middle so that a train can switch track if it so desires. And then what I need to do is the same thing over on this side, so I'm putting in the signals and stuff, and then we put another crossover point here, and I'm quite proud of it because it looks pretty cool. I don't think it ever gets used while I'm building it. Well, actually I think at one point the circuit train switches tracks, but that may have been just because I hadn't set up the signals fully at that point. But apart from that, the trains don't seem to be using them, but they are there, and they look cool, and maybe they're useful, and so on. And it's looking like a much more of a sort of heavy-duty rail network now, with lots and lots of trains moving along all the time, and cool stuff like that. So anyway, what we need to do is also set up some crossover systems, well, one crossover system below the circuit station system thing. So I'm just working out sort of the central point so I can get things nice and symmetrical, and as it turns out there isn't a symmetrical point because it's like odd numbers and things like that, and we need even numbers and so on, but I can get fairly close, so I set up the little cross there. and then the curved bits of rail, and then I can put in the signals for it. And there we go. That may also be a help, or it may not be, but it looks cool either way. So you know that's nice. So anyway, let's go check up on other things, see how the trains are running, and I start making a couple more bits and bobs of rails and so on in case we need them. And then I go check up on the smelters, and I decide to add in yet more because there still seems to be more capacity in the circuit assemblers for more plates coming in. So I add in 4 iron smelters, and then I'm going to add in 6 copper smelters to keep with the right ratio. And I'm just sort of setting up all the bits. We need to put in the belts and the inserters and the efficiency modules, the power and everything. So it all takes a bit of setup. And I also like to sort of time it nicely so it all sort of goes on at once. So I put them all on the outside and then on the inside, and all of the smelters start up, and then we do the same thing over here as well. And there we go. We have even more upgrading going on with the plates. And looking at the system, it looks like it's just about coping, but maybe could have some problems if there's any more added. So what I'm thinking is that I've actually found a bit of a ratio here for how many furnaces you should have for each assembly. So I mean, I don't know how correct it is, but it's fairly close, so it could be used as a bit of a sort of guideline. So we've got I think it's is it 12? Yes, it's 12 iron furnaces, and then it will be 18 copper furnaces for 4 circuit factories that are fully supplied with copper. So anyway, we made our way back over to the main base to let the bots resupplies and so on and so forth, so we can make a bunch more things again, and I can go check up on things. And it looks like we have a bit of a problem with the evening out belt over here. Remember the 90-degree corner thing? We have a problem. It just keeps jamming, which isn't good. So I'm trying to fix it, and it's not working very well, and I'm getting a bit frustrated, and there's bots everywhere, so I get rid of those. And it looks like the only way I'm going to be able to fix this is to actually change the system, so it's now a lot bulkier and ugly looking, but it once again functions. And what it seems to be is a problem with the latest patch of Factorio 0.11.7, which seems to have done some tweaking with exactly how belts work when it comes to sort of two corners following each other. So that now the stuff can get jammed on it, and hopefully this will be fixed, because if it isn't, my whole 90-degree belt balancer is broken, and I'm going to have to come up with a new system, which is annoying because I was really proud of it and really happy with it, and it was really quite efficient and stuff like that, though not always as effective as it could be as a belt balancer, but fairly decent. So anyway, we're resupplying on modules and so on, because we've got a bit of a problem with that right now. Everything's being hoovered up because I put the million alien artifacts into producing the level 3 modules, and that's sort of hurting things a bit. And then we can go and do all the stuff. We've got some wood to unload in that chest there, and we've actually filled that chest up now, so we're going to need to make another chest for it. Then I go check up on the iron ore smelting stuff, and it looks like we need a bit more of a supply. So I have a quick inspection of the trains, and it looks like Iron Outpost 1's train is the one that is having the most trouble, so we hop on board so that we can check up on how things are going there, because it's been a while. We've had this outpost for a very long time now, and a lot has happened to it. Things have advanced a lot, and you can see the belt balancer over here is broken as well, which is annoying, so I've had to tweak that as well and add in the extra bulky bit to make that function properly. And it's a bit worrying, because a lot of my base does rely on that particular structure, and a lot of the times it's sort of like I've built that system and then it's been hemmed in by a bunch of other stuff, so we may not have room to actually expand the belt balancers to be to work again. So yeah, I'm hoping 0.11.8 will bring a fix for this. But anyway, we're working on adding in some more mining drills at the outpost, because as well as the belt balance is slowing things down, we also have a lot more mining drills running out, and we need to resupply on those. And I think I don't think we've got rid of most of the iron yet, but we've now had mines on most of the deposit, definitely, because we're zoning in on that last little square of it. But anyway, now I can check up on how things are loading with the newly whatever you call it, enriched supply or whatever. I couldn't think of the word, but anyway, we go on the train and watch as it's loaded, and this time it gets loaded to almost half fullness instead of a quarter fullness like it was before, which helps. And then it can make its way back over to the station and get unloaded. So then I go over and check on the smelters, and one of the belt bouncers is working, but one of the others is not. Luckily, this time around when I clear it up, it just starts running. So it looks like when they're pointing down, it's not so much of a problem, but when they're pointing up or left, it is a problem. I don't think I have any of them pointing right, so I can't check the whole thing. But it is a bit weird. Anyway, we also have the problem over here at this one. We try and fix this, and it just refuses to, so I'm just going to leave that and see if I can fix that in the next episode. So I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.